And those of you who have been with me for a while know I have these little phrases that I suggest people use that kind of drop into your experience and see what happens. Um, for example, no problem here was one of them, or I really want to be here for this is another one. But the one that I feel fits this theme that I use, and I don't know if I've introduced it before, is your heart matters, which is something that I say to myself. Um, and it could be in part my conditioning as a male, um, that, or it could be really belong to anybody, this feeling like my heart doesn't matter. Um, the things that matter to me don't matter to other people or whatever. And my mind does strange things with it, but I find myself using it with myself. Your heart matters. When I feel like I'm not giving my feelings their due, when I'm not letting my needs matter, I'm not speaking for my needs, or I'm not allowing myself to feel what I feel. I feel like my conditioning is to be that my head matters, my thoughts matter, my competence matters, or um, my ability to deal with situations matter, and that's what matters. And I just find it helpful to remind myself that my heart matters. It seems to run against some kind of very deep conditioning, and I offer it to you just as by way of something that you could do in certain situations. Um, so sometimes when I say that to myself, I'll share with someone else what I'm feeling, and something vulnerable, perhaps. I wasn't really, necessarily encouraged to be vulnerable. Not sure anybody is all that well. Um, but when I say your heart matters, it like gives me the permission to tell someone about what I'm feeling. Um, somehow the voice that my heart doesn't matter is the one that would keep me silent or make me feel like I've got to deal with it all inside myself. And so one of the things that matters about my heart is that it wants to be connected with people. It wants sometimes to be witnessed by other people, have them know. Um, and and it's occasionally really powerful to feel that sort of connection. Sometimes I use it when I get the news, which my way of getting the news, it kind of comes into my inbox in the morning. I find that kind of the right kind of titration of news these days is to look at the headlines coming in. And I can sometimes get hooked by even just the headline. And that being hooked can be a kind of like not being able to quite let go and kind of arguing in my head about something. And there's a way that just your heart matters cuts through that. Your heart matters enough that you don't need to be stressing about something that is going on that you find harmful. But at the same time, you can cozy up to your own sense of injury, I can put it that way, in what you read. Allow that. I'm sure that I'm quite explaining this right, but I might get it. Just try it and see what it does to say your heart matters when something comes up on the news that kind of gets under your skin as you imagine its implications. It shifts something in a way that I like. So I feel like I can waste a lot of energy in upset, but sometimes like just saying your heart matters like brings me closer to the tender and sensitive part of me that I really want present in the world. I can say that. Your heart matters. I'll give you an example. It happened. This is an example from a couple of years ago, but it was kind of so dramatic to me. Kate and I were driving somewhere, and I was in the passenger seat, which is kind of unusual, but it gave me a chance to kind of notice things. And we were driving behind this pickup, and this big American pickup, and it had only one bumper sticker on it, and it wasn't even on the bumper; it was on the window. And the bumper sticker said "love," but love was spelled with a handgun was the L, a hand grenade was the O, a knife open was the V, and an assault rifle was the E in the sticker. And this like shocked me, created this kind of shock. I didn't know what to do with it. And I could feel this kind of spin. I don't know if you get into these sorts of spins around these things when people say things that are kind of offensive, aggressive, an assault of a certain sort. And so in that moment, I kind of admitted that I've absorbed a curse from someone, that bumper sticker is like a curse going down the road, a curse on people, and I had taken it in. And I needed the counter curse. I wanted the counter curse. What's the counter curse to this bumper sticker? And all this kind of spinning in my mind was like these things that I want to say to the person who was driving the truck and, so forth and so on. It was totally like useless. But I was able to drop in and say my heart mattered. And then I realized what I wanted to say, not directly to the face of this person, but just to their spirit, which is whatever fantasy of domination you're having, whatever your fear of being dominated you're having, that would put that bumper sticker on your vehicle. Your heart matters. And it lifted the curse. When I actually was able to say to that driver, your heart matters, buddy. And I have the feeling that you wouldn't put that sticker on there if it if it did really matter to you, but it matters to me. And it just offered this amazing sort of shift. Um, and with all these things, you can't use them too mechanically. Again, your heart matters could become just this mechanical thing you do to try to get yourself out of being triggered by people. Um, so you really do have to drop down into your heart and feel it. You can't just do it rotely. And I had to like swim down through some layers out of my head, down out of the defensive kind of more aggressive response that elicited to this other response, which was actually what freed me. And I don't know that had any effect on his psyche at all, but it had an impact on mine. So I offer this for you to, bring into your life in any way you find helpful, and then come back and tell us what happened. Come back and tell us what happens when you let your heart matter in these various situations that you encounter, when you actually tell yourself that. And I want to hear. So come back and let me know. All right, everybody. Be well.